There are objects that are not meant to be owned, not meant to be moved, and certainly not meant to be taken. Because some things don't follow you home. They convince you to carry them. They wait quietly, patiently, until the moment you decide they matter. Tonight's case file: a doll, a convent, and something that never left. Welcome to the true case of the Convent Nun doll. Case file number N-1963-555. Recovered from an unclaimed estate, Glenwood, Parkway, Minnesota. A property with no heirs, no questions, no one who came back for what was left behind. The paperwork was clean, too clean. No next of kin, no inventory disputes, no requests for personal effects, just abandonment. That should have been the first warning. Locations tied to ritual, prayer, confession, grief, silence. They don't forget. They layer. And inside a convent, those emotions are not occasional. They are structured, repeated, lived, day after day, year after year, until the walls remember more than the people inside them. Over time, it doesn't fade. It settles. And sometimes, it chooses something to stay with. Before the parish, before the school, before the silence settled into routine, there was something else there. An older structure. A house built long before the convent replaced it. Temporary, they said. But not everything leaves. When replaced, some things stay where they were first known. And when the sisters moved, something followed. The doll fits the pattern, hand-stitched habit, carefully made, not mass-produced. A rosary tightly bound around its neck, not loose, not decorative, intentional, placed beside holy water, and a photograph, positioned, not stored. This was not a toy. It was kept, watched, used, a focal point, something to look at, or something that looked back. But this case doesn't begin with fear. It begins with something quieter, something easier to ignore: compulsion. The collector arrived early, keys handed over, no ceremony, too still, the kind of stillness that feels like it's already been disturbed and is waiting for you to notice. The hallway was narrow, lined with aged religious prints. The scent, candle wax, and something older. Something faintly sour, not decay. Something held too long. At the end of the hall, a door, slightly open. That is where they kept it. The doll. The rosary wrapped tight around its neck. Not decoration, restraint. As if something had once needed to be contained or bound. He reached for the photograph first, and then tapping began. Not loud, not violent, just intentional. He froze, waited, listened. Nothing. He turned, slowly, but the room hadn't changed, except the rosary was moving. That was the moment he should have left, but he didn't, because something had already settled in. Not fear, not panic, something else. Urgency. He didn't question it, didn't investigate. He grabbed everything. The photograph, the doll, the holy water. Paid quickly for the doll, left even faster. Because something inside him was already screaming, "Take it, now. Don't leave it behind." This is what researchers call object lure behavior. A sudden urgency, an irrational attachment, a need to possess, a fear that if you don't take it, someone else will. Not possession, influence. Subtle, targeted, effective, because it doesn't trap you, it travels with you. The shadow came later, not in the house, not in the moment, but after, at home, in quiet rooms, in reflections, in places where nothing should be, standing, never fully seen, never directly faced, just there. A thickness in the air, a darkness that didn't match the light, too solid to be shadow, too still to be absent, standing behind the doll, behind the photograph, behind him, watching. The photograph is not just an image, it's a memory, a fixed point. 1959 Glenwood Parkway, a place that existed before everything was built over it, before order, before structure, before the silence had rules. Together, the doll anchors the presence, the photograph anchors the place, and wherever they go, a piece of that place goes with them. It doesn't need walls. It doesn't need the convent. It only needs to be kept, to feed. She does not walk the halls anymore, but still she stands behind the door. No breath, no voice, no face to see. Just something where there shouldn't be. A thread, a bead, a rosary tight. Bound not in faith, but bound in spite. A photograph that holds a place, a memory time cannot erase. You take the doll, you take the thread, you take the silence, long since dead. And when you feel you're not alone, that isn't fear, it's her. Coming home. The object is currently active. The object is contained, observed, monitored, but the presence has never been confirmed as stationary. Some believe it is attached to the object. Others believe it is attached to whoever takes it. If you felt something while listening to tonight's true case file, if the room got just a little darker, a little quieter, don't ignore it. Please take a moment to like, share, and subscribe for more case files that were never meant to be opened. I am for wins. Thank you for joining me here tonight. Good night.
The noise of judgment filled the air. The crowds began to cry, but she remained in silence there beneath the darkening sky. While anger roared like thunderclaps and mockery was loud, she stood apart, a quiet light amidst the shifting crowd. She walked the valley of the lost, where hope is hard to find, to bear the weight of all the grief that plagues all of mankind. She saw the faces of the ones who nailed him to the tree, and in her pain she loved them still and prayed that they would see. Her silence is a shield of promise for the wandering soul, a love that gathers up the fragments just to make them whole. From mountains of our prideful sin to depths of our despair, she meets the sinner with a grace that's woven in her prayer. The sword of truth that pierced her heart has opened up the gate, for mercy triumphs over judgment, love conquers hate. While spiritual warfare rages on, she holds the candle high, a beacon for the prodigal beneath the storm-tossed sky. Her silence is a shield of promise for the wandering soul, a love that gathers up the fragments just to make them whole. From mountains of our prideful sin to depths of our despair, she meets the sinner with a grace that's woven in her prayer. The words are few, the love is deep, the silence is a song. She guides the sinner home to where the righteous souls belong. A gentle gaze, a quiet breath, the storm begins to cease. We find within her silent strength the perfect path to peace.